The most valuable player of this game, and rightly so.
Yo, welcome everybody to episode number 58 of the Flight Deck Podcast. As always, it's your boy TK, joined by my compadre, Mr. Omari Brown. Bruh, what's good?
What's going on, bro? What's going on? We're getting closer. Excitement, or for most people, the third leg of this tripod. He's getting a little anxious, but I'm getting excited for draft season, man. Super excited. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff that we need to get into. So yeah, man, I'm ready to rock. How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling pretty good, man. We getting closer to the draft, which means we getting closer to the season, which means I'm amped, bro. I'm ready to do this, man. So. Here's to another great episode, man.
Let's do it.
Now, this episode, last week, folks, we did the defensive prospects, the pass rushing prospects. So this week, we will be talking about the wide receiver prospects. Now, we have been back and forth probably 2 weeks over this between Matt and myself. And I think you guys are in for a real good conversation, man. A lot of info, just a lot, period, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that we're starting off with these positions, obviously, one, the Jets have needed an edge for quite some time now, and the Jets also need a number one receiver. And the beauty of this draft is the reason that we're so excited is that obviously you guys are going to hear this a million times between now and between round one, that the Jets have 4 premium picks in the top 40. So we're going to get a really good idea about where the team is, how they feel about certain prospects. The cool thing is that I got some feedback. It's coming up on your phone. All right, cool. Yeah. So what was I saying? All right, yeah. So basically, these are going to be our receiver rankings, and we rank them. Our rankings sometimes might be a little bit different than what you guys are seeing on the popular publications, but we just take into account how one, the player, if he's a good player or not. Then we talk about his need and the need for the team, and then thirdly, we kind of project how they're going to fit schematically with the team. So I think you guys are going to be excited about what we have our rankings, but. Before that, we do have some in the theme of wide receiver. We do have some wide receiver news in the form of Deebo Samuel. So you want to take this one, TK, or you want me to take it?
So you can start us off with it.
All right, cool. So what's being reported is that Deebo Samuel is looking for a new contract, one, and that new contract doesn't have to be from the San Francisco 49ers. So he's been tweeting. So the new thing to do this offseason is to, whenever you're unhappy with your contract, you're unhappy with your team, you scrub your social media of anything related to the team. So Deebo Samuel has been the latest skill player to scrub his social media of all 49ers related material, and it's been reported that he's asking for $25 million a year. So once I saw that, because any receiver that's unhappy, any receiver that's available, Jets fans, we're all over it. We're trying to get to them. We're trying to put together a trade package, and we're trying to see how the Jets can get these receivers. So Deebo Samuel had a ridiculous year. I believe he had something in the neighborhood of what was it? 70 receptions
He had
last year.
77 receptions.
Receptions, 1,405 yards and 6 TDs, and also added another I believe 6 TDs in the run game.
He added 8 actually.
Eight TDs in there, so that's 14 total touchdowns. Probably damn near 2,000 scrimmage yards. So he's a weapon. Now, I like Deebo Samuel. He was also a second-round pick. But I'm going to throw this back to you, TK. Are you willing to give up draft capital, one, and then also pay Deebo Samuel $25 million per year?
No.
Okay.
Now,
he's only 26 years old.
Yeah, and I do get that. And I have been back and forth about this since all the talk started, going about Deebo. Here's my thing. He had the one spectacular year, and you and I both believe that he's a proven wide receiver, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm looking at the makeup of the team, and if we were like right there on the cusp of, say if this was next year, and we both sitting here believing that we have a playoff caliber team, and Deebo is up for grabs, by all means, you go for it. Because you jump from being playoff caliber to, hey, you looking to win a division now. Like, you looking to make some serious noise. You looking to make the playoffs and make a run, not just get there. Like, right now, we're sitting on where we're hoping 7 wins, 8 wins is something that we're aspiring to. And if that's what you're aspiring to, you don't spend $30 million or whatever and give up draft capital on one guy when there is a guy we both believe is Deebo-esque, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So just to play devil's advocate, because while I agree with you, I think that if you draft well, then you're good. Because when you think about all the receivers that have moved this offseason, how many of them were former first rounders?
Amari
Cooper, right? Other than that, and he's not even the best one out of all the guys that have moved, right? He's damn near what, 4th? So the rumors, I'm just going to include this guy because it's been rumored that he's looking for a new deal and they haven't signed an extension yet. A.J. Brown, second round pick.
Second round.
DK Metcalf, second round pick. Terry McLaurin, third round. Deebo Samuel, second round. Devontae Adams, second round. The second round is that sweet spot for the receivers. Now, I know what Jets fans are going to say.
What about
Devin Smith? Yeah, Mims. Yeah. Devin Smith. Even worse, Stephen Hill. Thrill Hill. So
man, we were struck out on second round receivers.
Listen, we got the right round. We're just not picking the right players. But I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
you don't have to surrender draft capital and pay all that money if you just draft well. A lot of your problems can be alleviated if you draft well. And guess what? Some of the guys that we're going to talk about today are hurt. You can double dip because next year, I don't know if most people have paid attention to the language in Corey Davis's contract. They're out of that guaranteed money. I know we mentioned it on a couple of episodes, or we mentioned almost every chance we get. I know I bring it up a lot because I'm not the hugest Corey Davis fan, and his performance last year just kind of, supported my narrative that I've been building. But I think that I agree with you, but I'm also kind of torn. Like it's in one of those situations for me that if they traded for Deebo, I wouldn't argue, and if they don't trade for Deebo, I'm not going to be mad. Because one thing, if you do trade for Deebo now you have that X, you have a player. It's pretty much the same system between Mike LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan. They're all, children of that system. So Deebo does come in. He does give you a number one. Is he a prototypical number one receiver? No, but he is a number one offensive weapon. So that takes the pressure off of Corey Davis. That takes the pressure off Elijah Moore. Hell, he even takes pressure off Michael Carter because you can line him up in the backfield and rush him from halfback in the zone read maybe 6 to 8 times a game. So that opens up everything. So if they were to go out and get a proven commodity, I wouldn't be mad. But if they didn't, I would also be okay with it because if you draft properly, I'm telling you if you can, let's say that they package one of those seconds and move back up into the first round, or even package both seconds and move up into the first round, that's 3 blue chip players that you should be able, immediate day one contributors.
Yep.
And what do we always say? This team is devoid of talent, and you just need to just fill that pipeline with talent. So I'm in favor of getting Debo, and I'm also in favor of being patient and just drafting the next Debo. That's your job.
Yeah. Like, listen, man, you hit the nail on the head on all points made. And I too agree with the fact that if they did go out and get him, I wouldn't be mad about it. Like, I mean, it would be cause to celebrate. Only if they can get him and extend him.
Yeah, I think it would be one of those situations where they would agree on a contract before they even announce
Right.
it. There's no way you surrender. Because and also you have to consider, he just turned 26 in January, Capricorn, stand up. And then you're gonna have to pay him too. So they offered a second for what did they offer? The second and the third for Tyreek? Or was it both seconds?
It was both seconds.
It was both seconds. All right. So what I'm thinking for Debo is a third and a fourth, or a third and a fifth. Because what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, or if you go with a second,
it's only one.
You get a second.
Like you get 35 or 38. You're not getting both.
You pick
so
one.
You either get
and maybe a fifth or sixth next year.
I'll give you a conditional fifth next year. If we make it to the AFC Championship, it's a third.
Yeah, but outside of that, nah, I'm not giving you all my capital and spending all my cash.
Exactly. But now is it? But now is the time to kind of make these moves. So we're going to have Zach under this rookie deal for maybe another, at minimum 2, maybe 3. So this is going to be the time where you got to start paying those guys, and that's why I was saying if they wanted to spend a little bit more for Teron Armstead. Yeah, I'm just throwing out names. Teron Armstead or whoever. Maybe you give a little bit more money to Marcus Williams, or just one of those other positions that you can actually afford to spend and spend a little bit more on, because you do have that rookie contract, that rookie QB contract. So and I mean, you got other guys that they're probably looking at that's already in house that they're looking to extend. That kind of complicates, giving Debo 25, 28 million or whatever it is. We could do a whole nother episode on early extension candidates, which we were right. We were 1 for 2 last year. No, we were 1. No, actually we were 2 for 3 because technically Braxton came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said JFM, Foley, and Braxton, right?
Right. We said all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And honestly,
definitely Foley. Yeah, Foley should have been resigned.
But remember, after we did the episode, we talked about Foley picked up in his play, and we all said, well, he's pricing himself out of New York by his play. And, we saw that.
Yeah, shout out to Foley though. Super happy. Yeah, you ready to get down?
Yeah, so again, if they get Debo, we all for it. If not, then it is what it is.
All
so
right, let's do it.
Let's talk wide receiver prospects.
All right. So first, we're going to go from 5 to 1 like we usually do, and this is going to be a little bit tricky because we, as a collective, we like a lot of these receivers. So we're going to have a 5A and a 5B. So the first guy that we're going to speak about, we were saying that he's Debo-esque. This guy, you can say that he dominated SEC competition. I want to talk about Treylon Burks, so wide receiver out of Arkansas. So 66 receptions, 1,100 yards, 1,100 TDs. What he came in at the draft, he is 6'2.5", 225 pounds. So immediately that's Debo Samuel, AJ Brown. That's in that area. So what I really loved about him is he's an athlete. They got him the ball quickly. They got him the ball in a bunch of different ways. They got him the ball in screens. They got him the ball in the boot. They threw him just straight 9 routes. I just love the way he competes. I love how physical he is. I love how he high points the ball. And even though he ran a 4.55 at the combine for his efficient 40, you look at that Alabama game and he lit them up for the tune of 8 reception. Yeah, he took it down the middle. Well, he took a post, outran the entire secondary. And the Alabama secondary, they're all fast. Jalen Arbor Davis, he ran a 4.3. They always have good safeties. So I mean, I don't question he plays faster than that 4.5. So he touched Alabama up to the tune of 8 for 179 and 2 touchdowns. So I mean, you're not going to find a better defensive unit than Alabama outside of Georgia. So I mean, and you just think about, I'll pull up what NFL.com says about him. Smooth for his size when gliding through space, runs route with proper leverage and turn acceleration. And I'm a huge fan of Treylon Burks. And now when we start doing the projections from the Shanahan system in San Francisco over to what Michael LaFleur is doing right here, I think that Treylon Burks, he's a plug and play X receiver. And maybe he's not, he doesn't have the, he doesn't have the route refinement. Whatever he lacks for in the route refinement, he can get open the way AJ Brown gets open. And I think that he's just a weapon. He's one of those guys where if Zach is struggling, you just need to just get him flowing and get his feel going in the offense. I think you could just throw a quick bubble screen out to Treylon Burks and let him take it to the house or take it for 7 to 8 yards, and that basically substitutes as a running play to me. So I'm a huge Treylon Burks fan. So I'll let you get in on the Treylon Burks talk.
I mean, there's not much that I can say that you hadn't already said. Again, I like his size. He's strong. He's a willing blocker, and that's big in this system. So,
yes,
I love that about him. Strong hands, as you can see, on the screen there. He excels in rack and yak. So, like you said, you can throw him a bubble screen, and he has the capability to take it to the house. He also has the capability to win those one-on-one matchups, intermediate matchups underneath for that tough 8-yard catch, or dude's big. He's not the fastest. He doesn't have the greatest separation, but he somehow finds his way open. So you can't discount that at all. And if they grabbed him, would not be mad at all.
And so let me ask you, where do you see him going?
I think the combine hurt him in a lot of people's eyes. So,
which is good for us.
Yeah, it's good for us.
Bad for the kid, but
he won't make it past the mid-second round.
Yeah, I don't think he definitely doesn't make it past the Jets in the second round. But honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't even think that he makes it past. I don't think he gets past Detroit. And I think from 20, the Jets are probably gonna, if they don't grab a receiver early, they're gonna panic and move back into the first round, because I think from 21 to 32, we might see 6 receivers go.
Yeah.
So the Jets might have to. I'll tell you what, if he's there at 35, we got to run, especially if we don't grab one with 4 and 10.
Yeah, if we don't grab one 4 and 10 and he's there at 35, as much as I wouldn't mind taking a job over there, like I said last week, I probably would take Burks.
Yeah,
because I mean that'd be a home run.
I think he's the prototypical second round receiver. He's DK, he's Debo, he's AJ. I think that he's somewhere in between AJ. You can't really put Debo because I feel like AJ and Debo are kind of in like that same realm. I'm going to say AJ Brown on the high spectrum and Laviska Shenault on the low.
I can see that.
You like that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, up next. So that was our 5B player. Up next, we got a guy, 6'4", about 200 pounds, from North Dakota State. This guy is flying up draft boards right now. I noticed this guy when we were looking at QBs last year. I thought that Trey Lance had the highest upside, and the first thing that I noticed about Trey Lance's film is this big-ass number one receiver burning guys down the field, and just all the explosive plays. So anything over 20 yards or more, it was all Christian Watson. And when he's such a fluid mover that I didn't realize that he was 6'4", because usually those 6'4" guys, they're kind of plotters. They're kind of like, when you look at like those 6'4" guys, they're not as smooth of an athlete, and they don't feel explosive. They're more striders than anything. Like I'm trying to figure out, like a Justin Ross. You see, Justin Ross is a big guy. Yeah, they're both 6'4", both over 200 pounds. But Christian Watson, you can feel his speed even watching it on film. So you look at the pros, great speed and acceleration in the open field. He's versatile. He can line up damn near anywhere. And like they've given him end arounds, they've given him, we're going to see here. And he just runs past everybody. Now, one of the knocks on him, what you're going to say is, he doesn't have the elite production. But I'll tell you, if you guys don't know, if you guys think Alabama's a powerhouse, check out what the North Dakota State Bisons have done to the FCS competition over the last.
They are Alabama FCS.
They really are, and they have 3 NFL QBs. They have the Easton Stick kid. They got Carson Wentz, and they got Trey Lance.
Yeah.
So 3 of their QBs are either backups or going to be starters. So this is a powerhouse program, and they get guys from all over. Christian Watson is from Florida. I'm not sure how he ended up at North Dakota. 6'4", running a 4.3 with this amazing body control. And you look at him, he does exactly what you're supposed to do against. I don't want to call them weaker competition. So I mean, some of the weaknesses or the pros, you're gonna say the competition, level of competition. Sometimes I would say his focus, he has some concentration drops, but I think that's more so concentration because they run the ball so much that sometimes when he gets the ball, he's super excited. So I would say maybe he'll lack the suddenness and release. He'll probably have to work on that. I think those physical guys, you start thinking about guys like bigger corners, kind of like the Surtains, the JC Horns, like all these bigger corners that are coming into the league that can run. They may give him some issues, but I think that he hides his routes very well and he puts them together, and he is able to, for a big guy, he breaks out of his stems and he gets in and out of his breaks really well. So originally I had Christian Watson going in the second round, but honestly, if Kansas City or Green Bay don't move up, I could definitely see him going to Kansas City or Green Bay. To be honest, if they're still trying to give Brady some weapons, I could see him going to the Bucs. I think Christian Watson is I think he's in that 20 to 35 range. We could see Christian Watson. And honestly, if he went in the teens and the high teens, it would not surprise me at all with the way his draft stock has risen during this entire process.
Well, I don't see him anywhere in the second round. The latest I see him going is 32 at Detroit. And the reason why I say that is because you talked about all his intangibles and his talent and everything like that. It would be one of those Baltimore Raven-esque moves where you get a guy who's on, many believe on the fringe, and you bring him in at that last pick to be your guy, and you got that 5th year on him to develop him, and it doesn't cost you much of anything. So, listen, man, him with which St. Brown brother is that?
Equanimity. No, sorry, Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra, yeah. You saw how Amon-Ra came on.
That's a nice little tandem.
Yeah,
that's a nice
you got
little
both
tandem.
of those guys, and then you got the then they got the tight end thrown in the mix with them.
Hawkinson.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, man.
And you got the DeAndre Swift. You start getting some weapons. You could even draft Malik Willis.
Then you already got your left tackle.
Yeah, that's true.
If he manages to slide all the way through all these teams you mentioned earlier, your Kansas City's, your Green Bays, places like that, Detroit is not letting him pass at 32.
And that's when you package a second and a fourth and you get up in there.
Yeah. Like
35 and 111, go to 25 and get your X.
Yep. I totally agree.
So I like it. Anything else on Christian Watson?
Nah.
All right. So this next guy, there's a few comps that I would say. We've heard Keyshawn Johnson. We've heard Mike Evans. I don't really agree with the Mike Evans, but Drake London is going to be our number 4 guy. So this guy is a beast. You know what's a good comp for him? Brandon Marshall. elite size and length, impressive high point catch radius, very good run after the catch. He didn't give me that much in the yak, but I do like his physicality. You look at UFC. USC was a mess this year. There's there's head coaching problems. There's QB issues. The one shining bright light for USC this year was Drake London. Drake London. You look at some of his 88 receptions for 1084 and 7 TDs, and he did this in less than 10 games.
Yep.
I mean, they were just feeding this guy the ball. You look at one of the Utah games. He is the best player on the field. And you're a Notre Dame fan. What did you come away with from that Notre Dame game?
Listen, man, he made a believer out of me once I saw him against us, because like that was the only thing stopped him was getting hurt. Exactly.
I
mean, because the quarterback play was sketchy, but like he was bailing him out left and right. He's getting double teamed. He's getting triple teamed. I mean, they bracketed him. Nothing stopped. Nothing stopped Drake London. And, I'm watching this. I'm like, man, Jesus Christ, y'all got to do something, because he's killing us. Yeah. And like I said, if he did not get hurt, we probably would have lost that game.
Yeah. So, listen, elite size for the position. He speaks about working under guys like St. Brown. Who else was he there? He mentioned Robert Woods. So he was there with some other USC receivers that taught him how to be a pro. What I really loved is how, even though they have him listed at 6'5", 210, he's 6'3", probably be 6'4" with cleats on. The way he got in and out of cuts for a big physical guy, I was extremely impressed with. His deep ball tracking is phenomenal. The way he works back to the ball, really good. And I just think his high point, he's the best high point catcher in this draft. Like if you had 150-50 jump ball for anybody in this class, who are you choosing?
Yeah. I'm gonna
choose Drake London.
Yeah.
So some of the weaknesses, what I didn't see that much creativity with disguising the routes. I do have some questions about how he'll be able to separate at the next level. His long speed is going to be into question, and which sucks because with the injury, we're not going to see him run a 40, which I kind of don't like. I feel like sometimes I don't like when we question a receiver's 40, and then for some reason, via him just choosing to sit out or injury, we don't really get to see that long speed, because I'm cool if you can be 6'4", 210 and run a 4.5 because of your catch radius and stuff like that. You can't be 6'4", 210 and run a 4.68. That I can't take you in the first. I can't take you in the first with that, because right. I just don't like that. All right. And he's not gonna give you that much as far as run after catch. Yes, he's physical. He'll break tackles, but as far as him, he's gonna be your typical X. I need a hitch route for 10 yards. You go out there, post your guy up. I'm gonna throw it high. You go be more of a man than him. That's where I see Drake London. So anywhere from, Mel Kiper had him going number 4. That's way too high for me. At 10, I'll take Drake London all day. If you go from 10 to 14, that is Drake London territory all day for me. I think that he's one of those prototypical X's. We have burners. Corey Davis can give you some stuff downfield, and even Drake London can give you some stuff downfield with the double moves and stuff like that. But yeah. I think that he's a good presence, and he's a good run blocker. And to be honest, I would be happy with Drake London if he's the wide receiver that they just decide to go with.
Yeah, 4. I'm definitely not feeling that. 10, yeah, I take him. If they traded back somewhere, for whatever odd reason and decided to get him at 15, 16, that'd be even better. But yeah, I like this kid, man. Like I said, I watched him. He's a slightly faster, a little more athletic, in my opinion, Ed McCaffrey.
I like that. I like that guy.
You can depend on him, good hands. He's not gonna give you a whole lot in the run game as far as blocking, but all stuff like that can be rectified, can be fixed. So I'll never just truly knock a wide receiver for not being a blocker.
Mhm.
Ever. Hines Ward and Steve Smith got a lot of people, fooled because they were just so dynamic.
Yeah, they were just dogs. Yeah.
And everybody ain't built like them. So
No.
I never hold that against anybody, wide receiver wise. So yeah, man. I like Drake London. I take it.
Yeah.
Honestly, any wide receiver we talking about, I would take them.
Exactly. At this point, it's just preference. That's kind of how I feel. Like, there's guys that I like more than the other, but all these guys are good players. It's all about scheme fit and opportunity and development too. Like the coaches have to develop these players.
Totally.
All right. So up next is one of my favorite prospects. I love this guy. I believe that he's the best route runner in the draft. He has some of the cleanest feet in the draft. I think that he has multiple releases. That's what I love about him. He has very strong hands, and I actually wanted the Jets to draft him last year, and that's Chris Olave coming out of OSU. All right, so he plays all over. He is that's the other guy, Chris Olave. He is 6'1", 188. All right, so top end speed, run a 4.3, 4.36 at the combine. Tracks the ball extremely well. I think I've seen him adjust. He gives me Devontae Adams vibes, the way he can track the ball over his shoulder and basket it. Great instincts to find the soft spot in the zones always. The cons is that he's very slight, and he even looks smaller than 188 on film, and he needs to improve his play strength a little bit. One thing that I'm a little bit worried about is these Ohio State guys, man. They scheme up. I can't think of an offense that schemes up free receivers better than them. And that's why it's really hard to project with their QBs, because there's guys just running free most of the time throughout the entire game, and it's just so surprising. So his lack of play strength, people that do that. People say average hand strength. I don't really agree. And he's not that much of a run blocker. And for somebody to be as fast as him, he's not giving you that much in the run after the catch as well too. But no. I think that if you want a receiver to win quickly, because that was the biggest knock on Denzel Mims. If you want a receiver to win quickly, if you want a receiver that has great hands, if you want a receiver that he has to know all three positions, the X, the slot, and the Z, Chris Olave is going to be your guy. I think he's a plug and play, really good receiver. I'm trying to think of a comp, but maybe the type of player. I think that he's a more athletic, he's a more explosive Marvin Jones Jr. I think he's going to be one of those, he's not a number one, but he's going to be a very, very, very good number two that can moonlight as a number one if you have two number twos. So if you pair him with Corey Davis, I feel like you're doing a pretty good job for yourself. And with this offense, I think that he would help Zach Wilson a lot, just because he wins quickly. But I'm a huge Chris Olave fan. I wanted him last year. I thought he was going to be a first rounder last year. He went back to school and helped his draft stock. I think he's going to be a first rounder again. So maybe he just went back to school for some seasoning. But I really do like Chris Olave.
So, firstly, he reminds me of a fellow Buckeye, Terry McLaurin.
I like that. Okay.
Secondly, let me tell you what I like about him. And you talked about it. The best thing I like about him is his ability to track the ball. I think, bar none, probably the best one in the draft. Or you can argue that he's the best one in the draft. So he can take the top off with his vertical game, top end speed. And he has, very good hands in my opinion. Now, as far as hand strength, I think he could, stay in the fight a little harder, when he's catching the ball. But other than that, man, there's really no big knock on him. He can get bigger, so that slight frame can improve. I think though he should he should work on his route running crispness to sell it better. You know what I'm saying? Like with his double moves and all of that. I think, again, just little stuff that he can clean up.
That's
Once
fair.
once he gets that, he's gonna be tough, real tough. So
Yeah, yeah. I just really, I just love his suddenness. I love how every release, like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, you can't tell until the very end what he's gonna do. I've seen him turn some corners inside and out.
yeah,
He put one of those Penn State uh, corners in a blender. So I really I like his game a lot, and I think that he's. So let me ask you a quick question: are you a high ceiling guy or a high floor guy with your prospects?
high floor.
I like that. I like that. When I'm picking early, I'm a floor guy. When I'm picking in the third round and later, I'm a ceiling guy.
Yeah, because here's my thing. When I'm picking high, like and this is just me talking about, like, say, fantasy football drafting. So if I'm picking high, like, I have a certain baseline that I expect this guy to get for me. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like, I pick somebody, wide receiver, third, fourth round. I expect him to get me X amount of points every week. So, it's the same with this. I expect the guy to come in and contribute well. He ain't got to be the best. He ain't got to be, top dog. But I expect, reasonable amount of production and consistency. So that's why I'm always a floor guy, because hell, man, ceilings can change. Ceilings can fluctuate. You can have a guy ceiling fluctuate from Pro Bowl to All Pro to All World. You can deal with that, or he'll be just God, who's just a good wide receiver we've seen, Tyler Boyd. You know what I'm saying? He
I
can be
like him.
Tyler Boyd and get you 950 and 7 touchdowns, or he can or he can go
Have
off.
a bigger year. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would just, or like Jarvis Landry, give you this level of consistency. His floor is super high because you expect him to get you 80 plus balls every single year almost. And that's why, again, I'm with the high floor versus the high ceiling.
Got you. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. So for this next guy, I'm sorry. You got anything else for
Nah,
Olave?
nah,
Okay. Cool.
we can roll.
All right, cool. The next guy that we're going to bring up is his counterpart. Garrett Wilson is super. He's a more explosive version. While I'll say that Olave is a smooth runner, Garrett Wilson is explosive. I would say it's the difference between those guys. Olave is probably a faster Jarvis Landry, and Garrett is going to give you that Odell Beckham, those shock plays. His routes aren't as refined, but he's going to give you those acrobatic catches. He's going to give you those deep double moves. He's just one of those guys where he'll take a slant to the house for 70 yards. He'll take a slant, cut back, make the safety of the linebacker miss, and then take it upfield for another 40 yards. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys where you go to the double move first play after halftime. All right, so just some of his strengths: deceptive speed, seems to surprise, single coverage. He has a play fast profile. After the catch, he's a slip and go. You're not going to touch him, and he has some punt return skills. What worries me about him, I would say that his releases are lacking. I think that it's a lot of the same releases. His hands, he doesn't fight through jams well enough. He's not aggressive enough to fight the hands. And this next one is from NFL.com. Takes off without a clear route plan. I saw that. Sometimes he doesn't. If you watch him throughout the game, he's not always setting people up with different releases, different tempos. And as far as like battling for positioning, I didn't really see a lot of that. There's not a much, like what I see. Obviously, they're two different guys and just in completely different styles. But what I see from Treylon Burks, I'm not really seeing from Garrett Wilson, as far as going up and contested the ball. But what I will say about him is that he does have strong hands. All right, and he also suffers from some focus drops as well too. And I think that some of his footwork on his on the intermediate stuff, maybe like the 7-yard outs, the hitches, the slants, they're not crisp enough. But like we said, the coaches have to take some onus on this, and they have to be developmental as well too. I think that this out of almost everybody here, as far as like plugging them in day one and being a good complement to the other receivers that you have, I think that Garrett Wilson gives you a little bit of everything. You know, you got the decent route running. You have the ability to take the top of the defense, and he'll give you something in the short routes and intermediate. So I think that he is one of those guys that if there was like an A, B, and C, if you're building out your basketball team, I feel like Elijah's your point guard. He'll be your 2 guy, and Corey Davis will be your number, your forward. So now you're starting to create a nice little pickup team for your wide receiver core. And we always joke about that. You want your wide receiver room to look like a pickup basketball team. You want to have your 1 through 5, and then you throw your tight ends in there, and that'll be your forwards and your front court players. So I really like Garrett Wilson. I think that you could plug him in from day one. He may not have. I think he has the potential to give you what what's his name? Devontae Smith gave the Eagles last year. So I'd be happy with Garrett Wilson, and I think that Garrett Wilson's a top 12, 15 pick all day. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 8 to the Falcons.
Yeah, because Lord knows they need wide receiver help.
They need a lot.
I think I can get like eight plays out of.
Oh no, you get some snaps. We dress. Yeah, we dress for a week or two.
They suffer, but yeah, man, like you hit the nail on the head with Garrett. You talk about his footwork, which can be sloppy at times. And that tends to happen when you're so good, man. You don't hone in on the little things because I just run right past this guy, or I hit him with a quick double move and be out. So, just he cleaned that up. Again, something small that can be fixed. But what I do love about him, you talked about, how strong his hands are. I love how quick they are, and how just moments notice they're up, and he doesn't catch the ball with his body. He catches with his hands, and those are the things that I do love about him. The things I don't like about him are easily fixable, and I don't see him dropping past 15 myself. He might be the first one taken off the board. Who knows? He's got the talent and the potential. So if he is first, it wouldn't surprise me.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'd be happy. You tell me that the Jets even move up a couple spots or swap with Seattle, and they go up there and they get Garrett Wilson. And again, and with any of these guys, I think that I'd be happy with any of them. Honestly, it's just all preference. I think they're all going to be solid pros. This next guy that we're talking about, when you talk about just run by people and being super explosive, I'm trying to think of the last time that I felt a player's speed on TV, because I had to go back and watch the SEC championship game, and just watching the film, like you can feel the pressure that he puts on this defense. And the guy that we're talking about is Jamison Williams. Jamison Williams, he scored 22 touchdowns at his prep school. He broke Ezekiel state record in the 300-meter hurdles. All right, now he was in a crowded. Now, just to show how crazy the recruiting is going on at Ohio State. Ohio State at one point had Jackson Smith and Jiba. Hope I'm saying right. Jiba, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Jamison Williams. So you start thinking about the players that have transferred to other schools from Ohio State: Joe Burrow, Jamison Williams. And Jamison Williams he was a part of the rotation at Ohio State. He entered the transfer portal in 21, man, 79 passes for 1,500 yards with 15 receiving touchdowns. Oh, and he also added another 350 yards in kick returns and 2 TDs. So he scored 17 touchdowns this year, got hurt in the national championship game, which means that this guy, he could have just mailed it in. He could have just stopped playing. He didn't even have to play. So he's a gamer. He cares. All right. So this guy is super explosive. If it wasn't for the ACL, Jamison Williams, obviously he's our number one guy, and he's already jogging and running. So I think that there's new technology now with the ACL repairs. So I think they put a rod in your knee or something like that to help the ligament come back stronger. So he's already running. So I'll read off some of his strengths, and I'm taking this from NFL.com and PFF. So he's a smooth route takeoff with instant gas, and I mean I just can't stress enough how explosive and how much pressure he puts. He can stop on a dime. That double move that he put on Georgia, and he's running full speed, stops a little bit, and then takes off the first play coming out of the half. I mean, he's just like he's outrunning angles. And I think that this guy, and I think that if you're looking for a big play receiver, I think the Jets would be wise to pick this guy. Help nurse him back. And I know that it sucks, and I'm saying this because the Jets were the most injured team in the NFL. They had the highest percentage of salary cap on the injured reserve. But I think this guy, man, maybe you take this guy and then you take a third round receiver, because you pair this deep ball, this deep ball skill to run the deep route with Zach Wilson's arm. And I think that I think it's going to be electric. It's going to be Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that both of those guys are there, but yeah, he's long limbs, so 6'2", 190, nice catch radius, good yard after catch. We already told you about his kick returns. So the biggest thing is the ACL tear, and it happened in the national championship game. So we're only about 3 months of that removed, and he's already walking. All right, so he's long, but he's kind of lanky, so he's going to have to put on some muscle, which I think he will. He struggles with releasing off of the press, but that's something that your wide receiver coach. He's more of a strider, so getting in and out of cuts isn't going to be the best thing. But listen, man, if Calvin Johnson didn't run the full route tree, he ran about 4 routes. DK only runs about 4 routes, so people love saying that he doesn't run the full route tree. You don't have to when your skill is to I'm gonna run faster than you. I'm gonna I'm gonna blow right by you, and I'm gonna walk into the end zone because you can't keep up with me. So he kept up. I think he either beat or was right behind Henry Ruggs that they raced. He raced Jalen Waddle, so he's going to be somewhere in that 4.28 to 4.35 range. If you get your medical staff on him and they think that he's going to recover fully, I think that Jameson Williams is a top 10 prospect all day, every day. And I think that he gives the Jets a dynamic that they haven't had in a very, very long time. A home run threat with good hands. And I've seen some people comp him to Will Fuller. Will Fuller, hopefully without the injury concern, which sucks because he's coming into the NFL with the injury concerns. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jameson Williams.
Yeah, man. A lot of people worry about ACLs, and with the advancements of modern medicine, man, it's not a problem like it used to be. Like I read a story today about Odell Beckham Jr., and he had his surgery, and while they were there, they fixed something that was botched last year in Cleveland, and they said they should prolong his career. So
good.
That's saying a lot, when you're talking about legs and knees and all of that.
And where we are, yeah.
Yeah, where we are. So, I'm not at all like worried about his injury. Just looking at the way he plays and watching him, like him getting hurt changed the whole dynamic of that game in the championship. Completely changed everything, dog. Him and Mechie getting hurt, and all I'm gonna say is I do think he's the best overall, the best wide receiver in the draft, and I think he should be the first one drafted, and if that's for us, then I would be over the moon with this kid because we see what he can do. He was the best against the best, and he'll be a problem. He's gonna be a problem next year. And
I think that if he's fully healthy and everybody's looking for that Jamar Chase, type play, because this is a copycat league, I think he's going to be the closest thing that you get to Jamar Chase. Now, he's not Jamar Chase, people listening. I'm not saying that he's Jamar Chase. And I was wrong last year because out of sight, out of mind. That's why it's not happening to me again. I'm loving what I've seen from Jamison Williams. So that's our top 5. Those are the guys that we like. Quick little run through. So our 5A and B respectively is going to be Christian Watson and Traylon Burks. All right, our number 4 guy. You want to pull him up? Our number 4 guy is going to be Drake London. All right, our number 3 guy is going to be Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Number 2 is going to be Garrett Wilson, and then number 1 we have Jamison Williams. Before we get out of here, I just want to bring up a few guys that are honorable mentions. I think that this is a really deep receiver class. So the first guy, let's pull up Sky Moore. Sky Moore, the receiver out of Western Michigan. He's really good, 5'9", around 195 pounds. He is a solid route runner. Ran a 4.3, which is crazy because I'll admit I don't think that he plays at that 4.3. I thought that he was going to be like a 4.45 or 4.5 guy. I like that he can run the entire route tree, has solid hands, so he might be somebody that they target. If they're just trying to get those guys that just win very quickly with strong hands. Another guy that I absolutely love is Jahan Dotson. He's another guy, Penn State, 5'11", around 184, ran a 4.43, so he's plenty fast. And he's one of those guys where you could just get him the ball really quick on a quick bubble screen, and he could take it to the house. John Mechie, who we mentioned, the other Alabama receiver, he's more of a slot type of a Z type player. He tore his ACL, so you might be able to get him in the third or fourth round. Another guy, Jalen Tolbert from Southern Alabama, 6'2", 210 pounds, prototypical X guy. Broke records at South Alabama. Alec Pierce, pretty tall guy, 6'3", 210, out of Cincinnati. He's one of those players that I feel is going to be a better pro than he was a college player. You watch his tape, and there's a lot of times where he's open, and Desmond Ridder just doesn't hit him. Yeah, man, you look at Calvin Austin III, smaller receiver from University of Memphis. He's a burner. You look at there's one other guy I wanted to talk about, Justin Ross too. So Justin Ross, we were all huge fans of Justin Ross. Unfortunately, he didn't look the same after the spine injury. And Clemson is kind of a mess right now. They're kind of in transition. I feel like QB play hurt Justin Ross a little bit. So Justin Ross is going to be another one of those guys that I feel is going to be better in the pros than he was towards the end of college, because when he burst on the scene as a freshman, everybody just had him pegged for the first round. Matt and I, we were in love with Justin Ross before that injury kind of sapped him of his explosiveness. And DJ Uiagalelei had a very tough season down there in Clemson. So I say all that to say this is a very good year to need a wide receiver, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets double dipped at that position as well too, because I feel like the NFL is starting to change. I think the NFL, we're going to start to see it's going to be a wide open. It's going to resemble the college game soon. I feel kind of where the NBA looks now, where everybody just does the pick and roll and everybody shoots threes. I think everybody's going to be looking for those burners. Everybody's going to be playing those wide open spread offenses, just putting pressure on the defense, throwing the ball down the field. So you're going to start to see teams. Every team is going to have 3 really good receivers. What the Bengals did last year, you're going to have a young QB, and you're just going to have a ton of weapons, and you're just going to invest all your resources into your QB even more so, just because of what Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Chase, and Tyler Boyd did. So I think the Jets definitely do not be surprised if the Jets double dip in this draft, and don't be surprised if they take a receiver early. And don't panic if they take an edge and a cornerback, or an edge and a tackle or something like that before they touch receiver, because I'm telling you, there are the meat and potatoes of this positional group is going to be in that second, third, and fourth round range. We're going to see a lot of receivers from this class emerge better than some of the top guys, and they're going to be picked from rounds 2 through 4. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I got on the receivers. You got anything to add, TK? Oh, did I lose you? All right, well, maybe I lost TK. So, guys, listen, we appreciate all the love and the support that we've been getting. This was episode 58. We broke down the wide receiver prospects on behalf of the Flight Deck Podcast. I'm Amari. TK's over there. Matt is with us in spirit, and we'll catch you guys next week.